I'm in Barcelona where I have got my hands on probably the most exciting phone of the year and something that you've probably never seen before. This is the HUAWEI Mate XT. And you might be thinking, well, what makes this that impressive? Well, it is the world's first dual folding triple screened phone. And I can't lie, this is really impressive. Before we start, let me just say that I've only had my hands on this for 20 minutes, so I can't exactly give you a full review, but I can give you a bit of a first look at what this phone is all about. As I mentioned, you get 3 displays on this. You get a cover display of 6.4 inches. You then get an unfolded display of 7.9 inches, and then you get a fully folded 10.2 inch display. And I'll be honest, it feels really weird to unfold a fold, but if you want to talk about innovation in terms of phones and tech, then HUAWEI are really pushing it with the Mate XT. When this phone is folded, it is 12.88 millimeters thick, and you can compare that to something like the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, which I have here, and that is 10.5 millimeters thick. So you can tell that really isn't a huge difference. And when you unfold it to that fully flat 10-inch screen, that is only 3.4 millimeters thick, which again, if you compare that to the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, that is actually 5.1 millimeters thick. So this even beats that. Unfolded, this even beats the Honor Magic V3, and that is some doing. It feels really weird to fold open a phone 3 times, and it takes a bit of getting used to because you're so scared of snapping it in 2, but it has a really nice feel when you open it up twice. It also has a really nice magnetic snap with that first cover display holding it to the back, and it feels really secure. There is one big compromise if you were to pick up this phone, and sadly it is the battery, because the battery size here is only 5,600 milliamp hours, and if you're using the cover display or folding display, I think you would be absolutely fine with this. But using that huge 10-inch display, you might struggle to get near a day with this. But like I said, I've only had about 20 minutes to play with this, so I really can't tell you how long it lasts day to day. It does have with it though some wired charging of 66 watts, and then if you wanted to wirelessly charge this, you can do at 50 watts. It's all powered by the Kirin 9010. It has 16 gigs of RAM, and it goes up to a whole terabyte of storage, and comes in this really nice red, which I think is my favorite. And you also get a black color as well, which I think is nice, but doesn't stand out as much as the red. I was talking to a couple of people about this phone because I was curious about whether it would have an IP rating, because I just assumed that it wouldn't, being a kind of a triple folding phone, but it does. It has an IPX8 rating, so you can submerge this in water and you should be absolutely fine. When you pick up a folding phone, one of the compromises that you tend to just accept is on cameras, but here HUAWEI are really pushing that mantle and saying that we're not going to compromise on cameras, and we're going to try and give you some flagship specs. You get a 50 megapixel variable aperture main lens, which can go between f1.4 and f4, which is really cool. There's a 12 megapixel ultra wide and a 12 megapixel 5.5 times periscope lens. And I can't tell you a lot about the cameras because I didn't have enough time to play with them, but from what I saw, these are actually really impressive. I think you'd be happy with the photos that these take. The dynamic range is absolutely fine. The shadows works really well, and maybe they're slightly oversaturated, but again, I can't give you a full review on what the cameras were like because I had 20 minutes with it. But from that little bit of time, I was quite impressed with this. Around the camera housing on the back of the phone, you'll see this gold accent as well. And I've been told these are handmade, and every single device that is made is unique because each one of these markings on that camera accent will be different. Something else that you might want to know about this is that because it folds twice, you also get double the crease. But I'll be honest with you, the crease is really not that noticeable, and you might be able to see it in certain lights, but if you put your finger across it, you can't really feel it's there. One of my only concerns about the HUAWEI Mate XT would be its durability, and that's just because it is so thin when it is folded, and when you actually put it all together and you just have like the slab style phone, there's a bit of screen that is always exposed, and this is that part where I think that if you scuff it or you scratch it, then that could just be you having broken the phone really easily. So if you were to drop it and damage that screen, that could be that, and you'd be really annoyed because this is not a cheap device. This retails for around about $2,800, converting it from yuan, and that is just for the base version. But Sources have said that the Mate XT in Q1 of next year is going to come to overseas markets, which I think is really exciting, because I was going to be really sad if this was a China launch only, because I think people would really get on board with this phone because it's kind of extravagant. So the fact that it might come to overseas markets next year, I think is really exciting. I could see some real use cases for this, especially for me, like traveling around. I will always take a tablet with me on a plane so I can watch some content, but having a tablet that I could fold down to a phone that I could put into my pocket, I'm really on board with this. It seems like everything that I've ever seen in sci-fi movies is coming true, and Huawei are doing this with that Mate XT. As of recording this video in China, there are already 6 million pre-orders. So like inside of China, this is really taking off and people are really excited about it. But let me know what you think about the Huawei Mate XT. Is this something that you can see yourself using day to day as your main phone? I feel like I'd really like to use it. I am scared though, just of the durability, but for my time with it, my quick time with it, it seems like it's a really solid device. Before you head off though, make sure you subscribe to the Android Authority YouTube channel, and if you do that, then I will see you later.